You're listening to Angel Mama's Pregnancy Loss podcast, where I share thoughts, tips, interviews, and more so you can feel connected, have confidence, and move forward in your pregnancy loss journey. Learn positive mindset, self-care, and be the best version of you. I'm your host, Anastasia Adam. I'm a mum of a 39-week stillborn, have experienced miscarriages, and now have two amazing little women. I've supported, mentored, and coached women to go for their dreams and live their best life through the health and wellness industry for many years. Successful entrepreneur and now holding space for women who have experienced a loss to have a voice. My goal is to be a source of connection so you know you are not alone. You can move through this, find happiness, and create the dream life you have always dreamed of. So let's jump into today's episode. Hello, today we have beautiful Joanna, also known on Instagram as IBF_Tribe. And the beautiful woman has just caught my attention with all the beautiful posts and sharing that Joanna does when it comes to trying to conceive. And myself, we had our struggles and tried to conceive for a very long time. And I feel like there is a real big space that's needed for that community and to support women, inspire women and men, and see the journey that, you know, happens out there to people so you don't feel like you are alone. And we have Joanna here today to share a little bit about her story, her journey.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my very first podcast, so very exciting and very honoured to be here. Well, Nick and I started IVF last year in April, so 2019. I am obviously over 40 and in the geriatric age in terms of trying to conceive. So I just thought we will go straight into IVF. Since then, we've done 9 cycles and I'm about to begin my 10th cycles. But when we started, I actually did 7 cycles back to back. A lot of ladies messaged me to say, you know, how do I do it? You're so strong. But for me, I think I just saw it as a full-time job and I had to have my baby. So it just became, you know, an obsessive thing, you know, cycle after cycle after cycle. I was struggling physically, emotionally, mentally. But, you know, the end goal was a baby and that just drove me to, you know, keep doing cycles. So still no baby, but I'm still trying.
Yeah, which is really it's such a hard thing when all you want is to have a baby. And I know myself, we tried for many years and had miscarriages. I think in the IVF world, though, you're not, you know, if you have a cycle that is not successful, it's not considered a miscarriage or a stillborn like I've experienced. But I do believe that there is still pain, there is still grief, there is still stuff that comes on behind that, and that it's okay to feel that. But from some women that I spoke to who have experienced and gone through IVF, they kind of feel like that's not relevant, or they've got nowhere to sit in amongst all of that when they can't conceive and they can't fall pregnant. How has that felt for you?
It's a loss for me. Every cycle that I do, every embryo that has fertilized and hasn't made it to day 5 or I haven't frozen it, I feel it's a loss. It's a loss of a potential baby.
Yeah.
It may be, you know, obviously a normal embryo, but it's still an embryo, like all the same to me. So yes, I actually do view it as a loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have created this amazing space on Instagram for women and men that are also going through same or similar things as you, and the community is just amazing. How come you've decided to create this?
I had no outlet, as many, you know, ladies know who have Instagram or IVF Instagram accounts. I discovered the TTC or IVF world first through Facebook. I was obsessed with Facebook forums when I found that out. And Nick actually hated me being on it because it was a 24/7 thing, and I was looking for messages and ladies messaging me, and I was just not updating, looking at all these posts all the time. At the start last year, it was very informative for me. I learned a lot through those forums, so I was very thankful for those. But I found that I needed another outlet outside those forums that kind of let me, explore my own feelings.
Yeah.
I felt like, the forums were a little bit, they were guarded by admins, obviously. So you couldn't really say what you wanted to say and say how you really felt. So someone suggested, look up Instagram, just look up the hashtag TTC, IVF, and then, I did, and it was just another world. And so I felt very alone.
Yes.
And then I felt like I had this secret life that I couldn't share with anyone on my personal account, and I didn't want to share it on my personal account. So that's how I created the IBF Tribe, and it sort of grew from there. I never thought it'd be what it is right now. I never thought I'd, get to these many followers and ladies being so invested in my story. And I'm very thankful for all the support and the kind messages I get, every day. So yeah, it grew organically, which was amazing.
I think you've done such an epic job, and you just sitting there felt alone, and you didn't want it on your private page, and I can relate to that. That was me, and I didn't want to share that I'm having trouble trying to conceive, and I didn't even share my early miscarriages either at the time, because you do feel, I don't know, there's just so many feelings and emotions, and the fear of being judged as well. And for some reason, Instagram does have that power to allow you to express, because it just kind of feels like a lot more people get it. And of course, no matter what, we're always going to be judged. I think there's always people out there to judge us, but it connects us with people who are also going through similar things that might not want to share, but find value. And that's what I thought when I've been watching your page, and I love how you've got on there IVF humor, because you do bring a bit of humor and light heart to something that's really serious as well, and it just makes it I think bearable to some people, like make the situation bearable. And hats off to you, because I think it takes a real brave, courageous person to do what you've done, and to share and to invest so much time in supporting others going through fertility issues and IVF, just like yourself.
It is rewarding in some way, but it's also hard. So on the flip side, it's amazing to see women falling pregnant, and obviously their struggle because you're going it through themselves, but there is also that sadness for you, happy for you, sad for me, thing that goes on.
Absolutely.
Days when I can't open Instagram, when I can't scroll, and I have been backing off scrolling a lot. So I'll open it up and I'll do my stories, but I won't spend too long now scrolling, because it wasn't at one point good for my headspace.
Yeah. So do you have any tips or advice for like going through this? Like, I personally haven't experienced going through IVF. Do you have anything that you would like to share with our listeners that may have experienced an embryo not fertilizing and not carrying through a pregnancy, or did go through IVF and had a pregnancy loss along the way?
I do. I think the main thing is finding your tribe, which I did on Instagram, finding friends you can chat to, maybe friends you've never met before, but friends that you can actually, ask questions, get advice, or even just to rant and rave and, cry to when you do have that, the loss. Another big one is don't blame yourself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of females just feel, oh, I drank coffee, I lifted that box of shopping, I had a glass of wine, what you shouldn't do in 2-week wait. But, I see so many women feeling so guilty for drinking coffee. And look, I might be caned for it, but I'm still drinking coffee. No, I'm sure there's, you know, women who message me with studies showing coffee is bad, but look, I can't, my life would be just so boring if I cut everything out that I thought would be toxic and then, you know, feeling guilty for it. I think doing what you think feels right for you, but not feeling guilty for it is important. So there's no point drinking that coffee if you're going to feel so guilty about it. I think do what's right and don't feel guilty that you haven't done this or that because you had a fail. I think going into IVF thinking will be a success is also a bit naive. I feel that many women will go through the reality of IVF. It's great if you know that person who does IVF and gets pregnant the first time, and that's amazing. But the actual reality is that it will take a few cycles, unfortunately.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I couldn't agree more. Every time you say something, I'm just sitting here, I'm shaking my head going, yes. I totally agree. And I did a post on my my Facebook page just on the weekend about a little letter to my own body as well, saying, dear body, you are capable of anything you want and are perfect just the way you are. I'm so sorry for the journey from this photo was taken hasn't been a smooth sailing one. And I'm so sorry that I actually didn't think you were amazing, because isn't that true? Like blame, like
a beautiful letter.
Yeah, like, and I've written, I'm so sorry I blamed you for the miscarriage and the stillbirth. I'm so sorry I blame you for grief, pain and sadness. Like we do, I find we blame ourselves in our body. And in the letter I say how, like, we are now united, we are as one. And from today, the rocky road, no matter what it is, we're sticking together, we're best friends in a relationship through kindness, through love, joy, through sadness, through it all. And I'll never feel disappointed at you again. And that's a hard one, isn't it? Because we get disappointed, especially when, like, for my first miscarriage, like, I wasn't aware and naive of how often miscarriages came along, so I was disappointed. And same the second time, I was like, okay, well, this is not something that's often. But the reality is, as you said, like, even through pregnancy loss and IVF loss and not successful pregnancies, it is a lot more common than what we actually believe to be, or led to believe in the beginning. And then we see through this journey of trying to conceive and hold a pregnancy until we got a beautiful baby in our hands, there's such a big distance from one to the other. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, I spent a lot of my 20s trying not to get pregnant.
Exactly. I want a refund on all the pill that I took.
It's so bizarre. And then, because we have this, I don't know, certain belief in women that it's an easy thing to happen, and then it's easy, you have sex and then you have a baby and then life's, picket fence and all, but it's not like that at all, is it?
Not for the ladies going through IVF. I don't think sex to have a baby. Yeah. I don't think that statement even holds like true at all. Like, it's such a foreign concept, put it that way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's science. It's not sexy whatsoever. It's not romantic, And I was just saying to a girlfriend before, unfortunately, going through IVF, it robs us of every single joy. Yeah. The joy. I'm going to put this in inverted commas. A normal person would go through falling pregnant naturally and going through the stages of pregnancy, that joy of peeing on a stick and, the result and, seeing that bump. I think with IVF, that joy is taken away from you. It's replaced by fear. Will I have, will I make it to week 5? Will I get to my scan? It's just fear the whole 9 months. And that's sad, because I want to enjoy my pregnancy, but I don't know. I might be that lady who's fearful with her whole pregnancy, and I don't, but who knows? I will work on it with my therapist, not to be if I fall pregnant, but that fear and that guilt and that,
Yeah,
you're just so scared because
absolutely.
the more you want the baby, the more fearful you are, I think.
Yeah, I think with Soteria, my eldest, I rocked in the corner for the entire 9 months of fear and didn't sleep a wink, didn't sleep more than 5 minutes at a time, concerned that something would happen while I was sleeping. And I think loss and grief and the want
PTSD, I call it, post-traumatic stress from cycle after cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, in a positive light, because we're just sharing our experiences, our thoughts, and obviously we're not counselors, but just coaching people through find some support, know you're not alone, and continue to be positive and continue to go for that dream that it is, that if it is to have a baby, if it is for IVF, whatever it is, that it's important that you stay true to yourself and you keep on moving forward towards what it is. Is there something that you do to help keep that light lit for you? So through my pregnancy loss course I'm creating, I've got a module on self-care and one on journalizing, meditating, exercise, and a whole heap of stuff. Do you do anything like that to help keep yourself in a positive light and looking forward?
I do. It's been hard with lockdown and COVID.
Yes. Because
exercise was always my therapy, how I escape and how I, it wasn't about losing weight or, it was more my hour and a half that I could just escape life, escape everything. Yes. So I am a physiotherapist by trade. So I love Pilates and I miss getting on that reformer so much. So I'm looking forward to getting back, but I'll do Pilates at home, mat Pilates. Yes. And I'll definitely go for a walk with a girlfriend who lives around the corner, and she incidentally met her. I met her through my IVF account. So that's been very therapeutic for me.
Love it.
I have tried journaling on and off. It has worked. She just reminded me to journal today. The gratitude diary has helped for sure. Just writing just the little things that you're grateful for every day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say I fail at meditation. I'm very bad at meditation. It's very hard for me to even clear my head for 5 minutes, let alone half an hour. But I have tried. I think last year I downloaded, Headspace. Yeah. And I think I got to 120 days straight, and then I sort of fell off the bandwagon. It has helped. So please do it if you can.
Yes. There's some misconception around meditation as well and needing to clear your brain. I've got a part of the course is on that, and a writer of a book called Heavily Meditated has given us a discount code for anyone who's doing it. So I'm happy to share that with you as well. And it's a great book to learn how to meditate. And please know you don't need to clear your mind. All right.
Actually, a lot of ladies have said that to me. It's not about clearing your mind.
It's not about clearing your mind. But it took me a long time. It actually took me almost the 5 years. It's been 6 years now that I lost my baby. And the first 5 years, I found it really hard to sit in that quiet space. So it's not for everybody. But yeah, if you can, absolutely, just to let your body and your nervous system find some kind of leveling out. But they are some amazing tips that you've shared, and thank you for sharing your story. I mean, it's really vulnerable and it's so brave and courageous. And myself, and I'm sure all of the listeners, really wish you all the best luck in trying to conceive, and we are going to be watching your journey and seeing how it goes, and fingers crossed sooner rather than later you do get your dream baby.
I do hope there's a happy ending, Anastasia. I really do.
Yeah, I understand. It's really interesting having that conversation from this side of the story now, that I have my baby. But I was on that side and I didn't know if it was going to happen. And, all the 100 billion bloody pregnancy tests and, doctor's appointments and blood tests, and the 2 weeks in between waiting to find out, and the disappointment and seeing all your friends have successful pregnancies and the month they first wanted to try, there's a lot that, you know, we take on in trying to conceive. And then of course, if we experience any kind of loss, and I just want to put it out there that, you know, you are entitled to feel that you have had a loss if you do go for IVF down that road and you are on that journey for trying to conceive and it doesn't come through on the other end. Like, you're allowed to feel like you've had a loss. It's so important.
And also, if you choose another pathway, I think a lot of ladies, you know, get upset when they say, you know, people say don't give up, but sometimes giving up the way you thought you might get your baby, it's not giving up. You're just choosing another pathway. If, you know, if that first original pathway isn't the way you're going to get your baby, so don't look at it as giving up as such. You know, if you're going down obviously other routes of, you know, trying to get another baby, a baby.
Absolutely.
I find there's a lot of guilt as well if you're going to choose donor or adoption or surrogacy. You know, there's not a lot of people talk about that as well. I know we're talking about loss, but that's another side of, you know, IVF that is also not talked about, and I feel that a lot of ladies are, you know, are at a loss, you know, not knowing who to talk to about this as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. You have been an absolute delight and pleasure, and yeah, I hope we get to connect again, and hopefully down the track do another little podcast about your journey and where it's heading later on.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, and we'll hope to see you soon. Good luck.
Thanks, Anastasia. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode on Angel Mama's pregnancy loss. It means so much to me to be able to provide you community, connection, and support to live a happier, healthier life. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd be very grateful if you could leave a review and a rating in iTunes. It really helps to connect with other mamas that also are looking for support through their journey. And if you know someone who has experienced pregnancy loss, please share it with them. If you would like to connect, you can find me via email at welcome@anastasiaadam.com.au, or on socials, head over to @Angel Mamas Pregnancy Loss on Facebook, and on Instagram @Angel_Mamas_AU. I'm looking forward to connecting again soon.